There's at least 3 municipal managers in Limpopo face criminal charges that is concerning the spillage of wastewater into rivers. Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu has opened criminal charges against accounting officers of Sekhukhune District, Mogalakwena and Lephalale local municipalities. Let's head over to our eNCA reporter now. Moloko Moloto is in the Limpopo province and, of course, tracking this story for us. Moloko, good morning to you. Malume, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Tumelo. Indeed, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, is in the Limpopo province. He yesterday was in the Mogalakwena local municipality where he was touring the wastewater treatment plant there. This time around, he is in the Sekhukhune District, which involves the provincial capital of Polokwane, and he is at a water treatment plant. Now, the issue of the spillage of wastewater into the water sources, the rivers specifically, is a big issue here, and we are told that the minister has now opened criminal charges against the accounting officers. In total, I'm told it's 14 across the country, and in the Limpopo province, there's officials at the Sekhukhune District Municipality, but also Lephalale local municipality, as well as Mogalakwena local municipality in the town of Mokopane. Let's bring in the minister himself. He is with the mayors and the executive mayors and the deputy minister. Minister, thank you so much for your time. We are told that you have opened criminal charges against accounting officers of about 14 municipalities. What is their sin?
What is?
I am told that you opened criminal charges against the accounting officers of about 14 municipalities nationwide. What is the problem?
Well, the problem, as you say, is that there are compliance issues for water and for sanitation, in this regard, effluents. Now, in reality, the actual work of supplying water to households and therefore to the people of South Africa comes from municipalities as water service authorities and as our stakeholder. Now, we hold norms and standards that must be complied with by each of the water service authorities, just to ensure that, on one hand, water to households is clean and meets the required quality, but on the other, effluents that gets released to rivers meets the standards that are required for people down the stream to get clean water still. Now, what has happened is that because we have revived measurements, that is in the form of the green drop and the blue drop, we now see that quite a number of municipalities don't meet these standards. Now, we would have issued warnings to them, escalating them to directives, and when we don't get satisfactory response or responses, we open criminal cases, because water is very, very serious. It runs your body. It is your life. It is my life. And therefore, as DWS, given authority to guarantee the quality of water to the people of South Africa, especially water that they drink, but also the environment, and for people lower down rivers, we've got to take action when something is not complied with as a matter of principle.
Yeah, and let's talk about the danger that human beings, but also I presume animals, are exposed to when wastewater spills into these rivers.
Yes, it is dangerous. You now know that there are quite a number of people who have since died as a result of water-related diseases, even though we don't know the actual cause of cholera. But it's waterborne diseases that have affected us in terms of losing people, the number that we have lost with the epicenter in Namaskar. So there's a direct danger when your river, when your water that gets to your mouth, that you use to cook and so on, is not compliant in terms of standards, and that's why we need action. But let me tell you this: we don't give directives and open cases and then go and sit in a lounge. We don't do that. We are also having another aspect of actually intervening to assist municipalities, even beyond the grants that we give to them, but actually go beyond that. Now, I can tell you that we're from Mogalakwena. We are opening a case against them on one hand, and compliances, and they've responded, which is good. But also other municipalities have responded. But we go beyond that. In Mogalakwena, in the process, we have been facilitating from 2021 a partnership between Mogalakwena and Ivan Platz, which is a private sector company. Now, to say, can you, as a good citizen, bring your financial muscle to Mogalakwena so that the two of you can then build a wastewater plant there? It is now 92 and 98% in terms of different aspects, and we're happy about that.
Okay. Minister, obviously local government is a different sphere of government altogether, and there are councils there that are independent one way or the other from the other levels of government. But the issue of intergovernmental relations, I'm sure, matters there. When you engage with these municipalities, what are the reasons they are giving to you for their failure to do what they ought to be doing?
Well, on the 18th and 19th of February last year, when we had a summit in Sandton, they told us in no uncertain terms, we have a problem of capacity, we have a problem of aging infrastructure, and in some cases, very old and broken infrastructure. We don't have capacity to do repairs, renewals at the required rate and level. These are the two reasons. But there's also an issue of personnel in terms of skills, just the warm bodies in some cases, but skills levels to operate and maintain. But there's also a kind of laxity as far as our consciousness is concerned in terms of attending to infrastructure, especially O&M. But since then, we have revived that attention and we are attending to these matters.
I want us to shift our focus to this water treatment plant. But before we do that, in other words, if they are telling you about capacity and all that, money is not a problem. You do give them enough money to sort out these problems, right?
Yes, I would dare say we give them enough money, but because they would have had a deficit in terms of repairs and so on, it looks like money is an issue, and therefore not enough to do everything that was supposed to have been done 10 years, 5 years and so on, all of a sudden now that there is a lot of pressure. But ordinarily, it is because it's MIG, it's WISIC, it's ARBIC, 3 grants. If everything had been attended to timeously, you wouldn't have needed a lot of money all of a sudden to do a lot of work all of a sudden.
All right. Let's move from the wastewater issues, come to the actual drinking water. You are here at this water treatment plant. I'm told that the intention here is to increase its capacity from how many? 60 megaliters? You want to double that. What are the timelines? And once you are able to build it up to the capacity you want, what would be the yield? How is it going to assist the people? Because some of the people are arguing that water leaves here, go to Polokwane in the city, and they don't have water, yet they are around the river and this water treatment plant.
It's quite true and very concerning. Originally, you start with the dam, Boshielo, you go to Fleck Boshielo, you go to Diwop. These dams were built, it's fine. But there was no sudden plan to supply immediate communities and towns and cities across that are the neighbors of these water resources. And that was unfortunate. It was a gap in planning. Now we're chasing it from behind to say, by the way, there's Boshielo, Fleck Boshielo. By the way, down this river, the Olifants River, there is Diwop. But well and good that the structures are there, that water resources are there. Now we get to the phase of supplying water and close the deficit. Now we have for the WOP, we have this partnership that we have now struck, and we were in a meeting yesterday with Lephalale, who is our partner in terms of the agreement we signed last year in October, and we're bringing in these municipalities that were supposed to be brought in long ago. We are now one in saying, supply all these villages with water, with relevant municipalities and water service authorities. It's going to happen because there's a 24 billion rand project, and it has started on the day we were launching the partnership. We launched the first project of the agreement, which is a pump station. Yeah. It is quite advanced now, and we were ensuring that the agreement is now going to start delivering. But let me come here. There's a deficit in Polokwane. Now, Polokwane is a city. The mayor is here. He's complaining that his developments in the city, the hospital, everything, housing, can't start because there's a deficit of water, 30 megaliters per day right now. So we're working from behind, but we're going to catch up with them. We said to them, cool down a little bit, but you must be certain that as DWS we will deliver water. We're here today to make an assessment. We haven't received the presentation. We're going to go to Polokwane to receive it. Once we have received it, we will come back to tell you for sure what are the timelines, where is money going to come from, and when, just like we've done with all our projects.
All right. Let's conclude, Minister. It's one thing to build this infrastructure, yes, but it's another matter when you talk of the quality of water. Are you happy with the blue status? I don't know what you call it, blue water status.
Yeah, the blue drop.
The blue drop, correct. Yes. I understand that some of the municipalities are still not complying. What is the danger there?
Well, the danger is the one that I've said. You know, when you score below a particular percentage on the blue drop, it means that your water is overloaded in terms of your chemical content, but in terms of your microbiological content. And then we have a problem with that because some of these elements, both micro and from chemicals, they can actually kill people, as I've said, indicated. And therefore, we're in a hurry to correct the situation. We are now preparing a memorandum of understanding. The DG, our DG, and COCTA DG are at work, and very soon they will convene us as ministers and deputy ministers to say we now have to start this program of cooperation. What we're going to do, because there are these 300 and something wastewater treatment plants that have been deemed critical in 90 municipalities countrywide, we are then going to start with the worst ones and build up to say that one is our target, that one is our target, there is money, there is personnel, we are going to go for them. Now, this report is going to come in a week's time or so. But therefore, mayors everywhere shouldn't relax. We're coming. But before we come, they should start worrying because they themselves are accountable to people. Yeah. We are not the only ones who are accountable. But on this matter, there is no negotiation. Yeah. We just have to meet the standards so that people get quality water and treatment of, their sanitation services are up to scratch.
I really wanted that to be my last question, but I have a very, very last question for you. Talking of accountability, the criminal charges that you have opened against the accounting officers of municipalities that are allowing wastewater to spill into the rivers, I've never heard of such before, particularly government opening criminal charges against another sphere of government. I have always heard of opposition parties doing that. What is the likelihood of, in terms of the sanctions, what form of punishment are they likely to face if they are found guilty in the court of law?
Well, that will be the subject of magistrates. Now, I don't have a magistrate here to tell me what the sanction will be. But
can we see them going to jail, though? Any possibility?
Whatever the magistrate says as an order, it will have to be followed. But I want to go back to my earlier comment to say at the same time, while court processes are going, we actually get to intervene and assist. And I'm happy to say, in the case of Mogalakwena, which is one of the transgressors, in a month's time, in fact, in a month's time, we are going to commission that wastewater plant, which is going to come in 8 times at the time when as they prepare to go to court. But the wastewater treatment plant, a new one, which will be fully and 100% compliant, will kick in. And therefore, that might, persuade the magistrate and the public that we are really beginning to address even beyond going to court and all of that, but practically. And we're going to do that municipality by municipality.
Macingwane, that's all we had time for. Thanks for yours. The Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu. And I'm aware that as much as they have opened criminal charges against 14 municipal officials across the country, 3 in the Limpopo province, their report indicate that actually at over 300 municipalities are in what they call critical condition when it comes to non-compliant. Not 300 municipalities, over 300 water treatment works, I beg pardon there, in 90 municipalities across the country.